Okay. Now the game, it doesn't really matter what the game is. Everybody knows this one, and if you don't know it, get the fuck out of here. Now, Xbox. Let's just start at the beginning of the conference and go over the whole thing. The name Xbox One is stupid. And yes, I understand the intent behind the name. Just the same as I understand the intent behind the Wii U's name, but that makes neither one of those names any less stupid. It's actually kind of ironic that we went from Xbox Infinity to Xbox One. Anyway, Microsoft then showed off a bunch of TV features, and they're fairly cool features for the most part, but I just don't care. I wonder how much these features are going to help me if I don't have a national cable provider like Comcast, because I live in Kentucky, and our cable company is a municipality, which is to say that it's run by the city and subsidized by city taxes and offered to customers at a lower rate. And my internet service is through them as well. And I can safely assume that they have no partnerships with Microsoft, nor ESPN. So I won't have access to any of the ESPN content worth watching, and unless the console itself actually has a coax input in the back, I don't think I'm going to be seeing any accurate integrated guide, and talking to the machine to switch inputs is largely a waste of my time. Even if I would have access to these features, I really don't care. I use the TV for PBS, college basketball, and the news, and any show I care about watching I'll just download and watch on my laptop, because I can pay more attention to what's going on, and even though it's a smaller screen, it's also a more intimate experience, so to speak. It seems clear to me that this is targeted at moms and dads in suburban households with 2.3 kids, kind of like Woody's Gamer Tags family, who want to gather around the television on the couch a few nights a week and wrap a blanket around themselves and pretend they're having family time. But that's not me, and that's not something I give a shit about doing. I also don't want to talk to my console like a jackass every time I want something done. I keep a remote right here on my end table, and it's much simpler to just reach over, pick up the remote, push a couple buttons, and do what I need, rather than to have to formally address my machine like a dickhead. But as far as the technical specs go, there's really not much to say here. We know about as much about it as we know about Sony's PlayStation 4. And from the looks of it, the consoles will be very similarly spec'd. Sony has better RAM for games. Microsoft's DDR3 RAM probably works better for all the operating system driven media features and stuff, since it has the better timing. I just want to take a minute to say that the 3 and the 5 at the end of DDR and GDDR don't mean that one is better than the other. It just refers to the technology generation of each one. But the GDDR is for graphics, thus higher bandwidth and higher clock speed and lower voltage, and that will probably help get a little bit more performance out of the GPU. But in reality, it's probably negligible. As far as Kinect specs, I'm not going to talk about them because I really don't give a shit, and I doubt most of you guys do either. It's kind of ironic that most of what we saw out of the camera today made use of itself as an expensive microphone. The controller looks pretty good. It's a little bit ugly, but some design aspects of it also look pretty good, like the analog sticks really look pretty good. And even though I think the ergonomics of it are ugly, I'm sure it feels pretty good in your hands, because Microsoft always does a good job with ergonomics. And I even thought the old Duke controller was pretty comfortable, although the button placement was kind of odd. The most exciting aspect of the controller that I found was the ability for developers to program feedback into the triggers. And now about the servers, the number of servers, as far as 300,000 Xbox Live servers, I really don't know what that means to me, since I don't understand how Xbox Live servers work. Now, I thought that Xbox Live servers just hosted content and managed connections. to a game server, at which point the game server managed connections to connect users in a peer-to-peer type of thing, or connected you to actual game servers in the rare event that a console game had dedicated servers. And somebody on Reddit told me that was wrong, but he didn't elaborate or anything, so I couldn't find a good explanation online of how exactly it worked. So it is what it is. Shit bounces around the internet like fucking Willy Wonka, and I play games. That's all I know. Maybe with 300,000 servers, I'll be able to download a game with 100% of my internet connection speed instead of using half of it or less. As far as the games, well, there are a bunch of sports games that I don't give a shit about. Those games are there. They're always going to be there. They're probably going to be on every platform for the next 3 years anyway. Well, besides the Wii U, but the fucking thing doesn't count. The Wii U's irrelevant. I haven't bought a sports game since College Hoops 2K8, and no one's making college basketball games anymore anyway. I don't care much about FIFA or whatever exclusive content that FIFA has. Like I said, I live in Kentucky, and the only people around here that give a shit about soccer are the Mexicans that just play the shit out of it in Mexican restaurants. Especially during the World Cup time. Good God. Forza 5 looked fine. I'm sure it'll be a pretty good game. Quantum Break looks at least interesting, and Call of Duty Ghosts looks fine too. But I'm not excited about it, and it'll be on the PlayStation 4 as well. Microsoft said they had 15 exclusives to release in the first year of the console's life cycle. But I think that's bullshit at worst and misleading at best. I'd wager that at least half of those are Kinect and Xbox Live Arcade games or cell phone style games that offer some kind of cross-play, for lack of a better word, between the Xbox One and the Surface tablet and Windows Phone 8. And this was Microsoft's chance to convince me that they were going to stop dicking around with the games and start making some again, but it doesn't appear that they're going to. Now, I understand that they had a lot of stuff to go over, but limited time is not an excuse when you have the kind of cash Microsoft has. And, I mean, you can buy all the time you need. You're going to have time to say anything you want. If you're a multi-billion-dollar company, I think Microsoft made $6 billion in profit last year, and I know that that's not from the Xbox division, but goddamn. So I don't know. They should have at least showed a brief look at every exclusive that had anything at all to show, maybe except for 3. Save your best 3 exclusives and then reveal those at E3. And then when it came time for E3, you'd give them an in-depth look at all of your exclusive games, and you would reveal one of the surprise games that you saved at the beginning of the E3 conference, one in the middle, and then your best one at the end. And that's that. And I just don't understand this decision at all. Who does Microsoft think watches these events? It's people that care about games that watch these events, not people that care about the cable box stuff. They had the chance to make a good first impression, and then they fucked it all up. And now I know they want to push this media stuff because it's a lot more profitable. Microsoft can basically sell you a machine, lock you into an Xbox Live account, and you'll be paying for it annually. And then they can charge their content partners and their advertising partners to provide content to their captive audience. And that's a lot bigger deal for a company like Microsoft. I mean, I get it, I really do. But people going out there day one, and people watching this event, and people that want to buy this thing, the early adopters, they want to see some goddamn games. And finally, let's talk about this Halo TV series. And really, does Microsoft think they're fucking Netflix or something? Launching an original series that you can only see on your Xbox. This Halo series it's going to be bad. And not even Steven Spielberg can save this. It just isn't going to translate well to television, and will probably end up like Defiance with less compelling characters. And Halo is gameplay and story driven, and it would lend itself much better to a movie format than a television format, which is more character driven, and it will probably be cringe-worthy in the end. I don't care about this really, and if on the off chance I ever did decide I cared about it, I could just download it for free. It's not a big deal. And now after the conference, Microsoft revealed a few other details. The console will apparently not be required to be online to play games, and the details of this announcement are still developing at the time of making this video. So I don't know if they go into any further detail than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a catch to it somewhere. I mean, I really wouldn't. Where you have to be online at least to install a game, or at least to verify something. I don't know. That's just me speculating, but I wouldn't be at all surprised. Another announcement revealed that all games will require an install, and to install a game on a second console will cost a fee, and there will be no backward compatibility with 360 games. And I really don't care about backward compatibility. Everybody whines and cries about they want their backwards compatibility, and it's a deal breaker if they don't get it. But goddamn, when Sony tried to give it to you and it cost $600, you didn't buy it, and you whined and cried about it. Now you're going to whine and cry about not getting it. Fuck. You just got to get over it. All backward compatibility is just a bullet point on a sheet of paper that means jack shit after 6 months. Nobody gives a fuck about it. So just get over it. Let's see. As far as backward compatibility with Xbox Live Arcade and indie games, I don't know. I haven't checked the news since. So the details of that announcement were still developing as well. But as you can see, I really wasn't too pleased with this Xbox event, and we're going to have to wait until E3 to learn anything about games. And for this reason, Microsoft earns themselves a 2 out of 5. You motherfuckers.